You think we're gonna beat all these games?
Nope.
Backlog boys.
No, probably not.
Whoa.
What's it gonna be?
Fort.
Cool. I like
right.
forts.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, Vaughn. I do. Do you have any cool forts back in the day?
Did I build any?
Yeah, or were you in any?
Like snow forts and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, that's not something I grew up with.
Because when you shovel your driveway
Yep.
or plow your driveway, and when the street plow plows the street,
Right, you end up with a big mound.
like right on the corner of your driveway, and so we would always have one, and my neighbor would always have one, and we would have little duels, little skirmishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I had a snowball fight once when I was a kid. It was the only time there was enough snow to actually, like, warrant that.
Okay.
And I didn't enjoy it because I didn't like getting snowballs thrown at me
Okay.
because they were really cold. And I don't like being cold.
I suppose, yeah. So
And our snow, like, is really wet. So it was basically a ball of ice. Like, you'd form the snowball with your hand and it would just melt into,
just
like, a
pack
really
into a bunch
hard
of ice.
ball
Yeah.
of ice. You know, like, when it hit you, it would just bounce off and fall on the ground and you could, like, pick it up again and throw it.
Yeah. It's nice when they're more powdery.
Yeah, and it just kind of bounces off. And plus, you got all those
It like
clothes on.
explodes as it hits you.
Yeah, and you got all those...
Kind of cinematic.
Yeah, you got all those heavy, reflective, weatherproof clothes on, you know, and you don't even really feel it.
Yeah.
But
So
where we were, you're wearing, like, a long-sleeve shirt and jeans.
yeah,
And you just get all wet. And you get really cold. And then you go put your shoes in the oven.
and then you get really you just become unpleasant.
Yeah. And you're just like, okay, snow sucks. Let's go back inside. We're not ready for this. At least we got the day off school.
So you notoriously don't like cold.
Yes. I do not like cold.
Do you do sledding or things like that?
I mean, I've done it before and I've enjoyed it, but I haven't really done it in like a true sense.
Okay.
You know, like the extent of sledding when I was a kid was like maybe there was enough ice to freeze the driveway and you could go slide down the driveway on like a toilet seat or like something that you could find in the garage because nobody owned a sled.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't an annual thing.
I haven't actually gone to like a snow-covered meadow and ridden a sled down like a big hill.
Okay.
You know, I've never done that. I watched Ethan Frome do it and die in a bad movie.
Okay. What movie was that?
Ethan Frome.
Oh,
Did you ever have to read that book for school?
I did not.
I don't remember anything about it other than Liam Neeson riding a sled with his lady friend, and
Liam Neeson?
they hit a tree and she died and he didn't. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, he was Ethan Frome.
all right.
We had to read it for a
Noted.
summer project, and my friend and I watched the adapted like movie on the way back from like a road trip in a minivan on the little tiny TV. And then we got terrible grades on the projects because we had no idea what was happening. It was great.
You know, there are like some classic books that I must have been forced to read for school that I probably wish I would have rather done outside of a school setting and when I was older.
Yeah, same here.
Because like I feel like I missed a lot, or like just like it just all went over my head.
Right. I've been
And I
recently.
remember nothing about a lot of them that I had to read.
I actually have been recently examining the exact same thing. Like the only book that I read that I was forced to read for school that I like actually enjoyed and took the time to legitimately read and felt like I understood was 1984.
Okay, that's the Orwell one.
Yeah, and I just recently reread it for that reason, to see how much I remembered and what I thought of it being older. And I definitely got a lot more out of it, and there was a lot of stuff that I didn't remember, and a lot of stuff that I did, and I definitely had a much different perspective, and it had a much different effect on me as an adult than it did as like a 10th grader.
Yeah, and like the only ones I remember really like resonating were Haroon and the Sea of Stories, which is like the most obvious. Like the metaphors are so obvious. It's like
Yeah.
You can't miss
You don't
them,
even like
even
feel
as-
smart
Yeah,
for
it's
figuring
not
it
like
out.
you piece it together. Like it's laid out
Right.
incredibly clearly. Like this, no
Kind of
dancing
like
around
insults your intelligence almost.
it. Well, no, it's still good because it's supposed to be consumable by like children as well, or
Right.
like younger people.
Right.
But
So they're almost more like fables.
yeah, that's a good way to describe it. But it was like that one. Like I remember The Alchemist resonating.
Never heard of it.
And then, what was the other one? I think Animal Farm and like,
Oh, Animal Farm, Orwell?
yeah,
See, I need to read that one because I've heard it's really good.
it is.
I've never read that one. That was one that like our teacher recommended to us after we finished
After reading that.
1984. She's
Okay.
like, we don't have time to do this one, but you
But this
guys should
one's good.
read this. And obviously, if a book was optional, in the 10th grade,
It was off your radar.
it was not on my radar. Yeah.
The other one was, I think, Anthem.
Anthem.
Yeah, that's
Man,
like
I've
a-
never heard of any of these books.
That's like an Ayn Rand thing.
Well, I guess the other one I'm forgetting about is Life of Pi. We read that senior.
Okay.
We read that senior year, and that book is amazing, and all the awesomeness. I was old enough at that time, and that book is an easy enough read, where I fully understood that one.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to go back and read it just for fun, but I don't think I'd get anything out of it that I didn't get before.
Okay.
Well, that's probably not true because I have a much different view on theology now than I did then too.
Okay.
So.
I think I would go back and read The Alchemist again. I know
Yeah.
I definitely would. Like
What
that's
is-
one of my favorite books.
What is that one about?
That's it's by Paulo Coelho, the Brazilian. I think he's Brazilian.
Okay.
And it's very philosophical, not necessarily religious, but I can see how it could be interpreted as such.
Okay.
It's about
Damn. How much did he do?
I don't know, but you were only at like 40.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
But it's kind of like it's about a boy who like is grown up in Spain, and he like, I think he's like, what is he? He's not like a monk, but or no, he's just like a shepherd.
Okay.
That's all he is. Yeah, and he like finds this thing after like, it'd be hard to explain it to you, but he essentially like ends up having to travel to like find this hidden treasure, and then it turns out like the treasure wasn't necessarily that valuable. It was like it was the journey getting him there, because he goes through all this stuff to get there that like, you know, makes him a better person. He learns about the world, and like that was like the journey was the real, and like the people he met and the things that he learned was like the real treasure. Like a story kind of like that.
That's interesting.
And there's also some things weaved in about like ideas about like, you know, the world being more unified than it seems, or like, you know, like there being a language of the universe, like not that, you know, people
Yeah.
can kind of understand without, you know, having grown up in the same place or something like that.
Yeah.
Like philosophical concepts like that, which were really
Yeah,
really
that's
cool.
I'm into that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's one of my favorite books.
I've kind of like taken on a mission to like go back through and read all the books that were assigned to me in school
Yeah.
to see if I can understand them better. I mean, because especially like the Shakespeare, like I didn't understand hardly any of that,
Yeah.
except for like one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but there was one that for some reason just kind of stuck with me a little bit more, and I was able to figure it out amidst all the language, flowery language. What do I do with this guy? Should I just do fire? Get it caught up while we wait to buy another diamond?
Sure.
I guess. I mean, it's got to come up at some point.
And we do need quite a bit of fire.
Yeah. Here we go. So I don't know if I'll try to reread all the Shakespeare ones, but I'm even talking like back to like 5th grade and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember reading Hatchet and thinking it was really cool. I'd love to
Remember that
reread.
one.
I'd love to reread that one as an adult and get a different perspective. It's about a boy who like supposed to go on a trip somewhere with somebody, and they're in like a single engine plane and they crash, and the guy who's taking him there
Oh yeah,
dies.
I read that. Yeah.
And he's like a teenager, and he's like living in the wilderness for like a long
it's
time.
It's trapped out in the wilderness. Yeah,
Yeah, and he like
read that.
has to learn how to build a fire and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I want to reread that one because I just remember a little bit of it, and most of what I remember is like the actual mental images that I created as a kid reading it. So I want to like revisit those places, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool thing that the human mind is capable of doing.
There was one that. Did you have to read 100 Years of Solitude?
Nope,
Okay.
never heard of it.
That was one that was like I walked away with nothing from like in the context that I was reading it. I came away with nothing from
Just
that.
because it was like difficult, or
It was difficult and like I don't know, maybe I just wasn't super into it at the time, but like I retained nothing from it except confusion.
huh? Well,
But
next time
Yeah,
we get together tomorrow on the show,
we'll be reading some new books.
we're gonna maybe talk about something else.
Yeah? Oh, you don't want to talk about
I mean, we can keep talking about middle school fiction.
talk about whatever suits our fancy, huh?
Exactly.
Season 6.
That's the beauty of the boys.
That's the beauty,
Besides what you're seeing on RedTube,
which is still beautiful.
not our superficial beauty, but our inner beauty. The beauty of our banter.